There are over 250 bougainvillea varieties available across the world. These varieties come with a wide selection of special characteristics, including thornless, dwarf, and giant varieties. While some varieties grow to about 2 feet tall, others can go up to 40 feet tall. Here are some of the most common and easily available varieties. Dwarf bougainvilleas, also known as mini bougainvillea, offer year-round color in container plants, making them a great option for those with limited space. Dwarf varieties grow and spread to about 3 to 5 feet. Easter Parade. Growing to about 3 to 5 feet. The Easter Parade variety grows beautiful lilac blossoms with deep green foliage to add a graceful look to your garden. The dwarf variety is best showcased as a tiny hedge or in garden pots. Hugh Evans. Also known as the Fair Lady. This hybrid variety produces pale coral blooms that pair well with deep-colored blossoms from other plants. Adding this variety to your garden offers the much-needed color contrast to produce an edgy interest. James Walker. Also known as ambiance, the James Walker bougainvillea is amongst the most popular dwarf varieties. In addition to being an excellent landscaping plant, it is also great in garden pots, hanging baskets, or trailing on entryways or arbor. Helen Johnson. For a showy, bright ground cover, especially in your garden pathway, the Helen Johnson is the perfect choice. The dwarf plant features miniature leaves that start with a greenish tan finish that transition to deep dark green at maturity. Sunvillea Rose. This unique variety grows pink or magenta flower clusters that resemble garden roses. These flower clusters are accentuated by green leaf foliage. They are a perfect option for achieving a bright, eye-catching garden look. Pink Pixie. It grows a tightly packed arrangement of pink flowers. Each layer of the tightly packed blooms is supported by yellow-green leaves that help the flowers pop out better. The dwarf variety grows between 2 and 4 feet tall. Rosinka. Growing to about 3 to 4 feet tall, the Rosinka is a bicolored variety that boasts rich gold-colored flowers that transition to pink as they age. The best part is their dwarf size allows you to fit them in a small pots. Yanni's Delight. Measuring 2 to 3 feet tall, the Yanni's Delight is a smaller shrub with colors reminiscent of the cherry blossom tree. So, if you want to bring a beautiful Japanese garden to your home, you can do so with this variety. Crimson Red. This variety grows bright crimson red bract heads offset by their thick emerald green leaves. Growing to about 5 feet tall, the crimson red variety is a prolific climber and can be added to an arbor or hung against the wall for a display. Don Fernando. This variety grows spectacular flower-like bracts that can be described as intense tomato red to crimson red. To make this variety's blooms even more unique, it grows minuscule white flowers surrounded by the bracts. Orange Ice. To enjoy this variety's attractive spectacle, you want to plant orange ice in hanging baskets. The vine tends to develop thick blossoms that are only accentuated by their variegated foliage and flow from the basket quite spectacularly. Temple Fire. The Temple Fire title really does this variety justice. As the title suggests, the plant features intense fuchsia pink bracts with a touch of orange to stand out anywhere you place it in your yard. Sunvillea Cream. Resembling its close cousin, the Sunvillea Rose, the Sunvillea Cream is differentiated from the former through its creamy-colored bracts. Unlike the rose varieties that bloom during summer, the cream varieties blooms in spring. Semi-dwarf varieties. Semi-dwarf varieties grow slightly more than their dwarf counterparts and use up moderate space. From here on, bougainvillea of this size is slightly large for pots, so semi-dwarf options are best grown in soil. Royal Purple. Unlike most bougainvillea varieties, the Royal Purple grows into a shrub rather than a vine. The flowering shrub grows thick, vibrant, deep purple flower clusters. It produces the most beautiful blossoms when exposed to full sunlight. Purple Queen. Amongst the deepest purple varieties, these bright vines work best over the wall, fence, or trellis. It grows to about 15 feet and develops small creamy white round flowers enveloped by violet bracts. Imperial Delight. The Imperial Delight variety develops white blooms that turn faint pink during maturation. This gives the illusion of bicolored flowers. While they bloom all year round, these varieties develop their most beautiful look during spring. Vera Deep Purple. A patented semi-dwarf variety, it grows an elegant fuchsia cluster of flowers accentuated by round light green leaves. This semi-dwarf variety grows to about 4 feet tall and allows you to control its shape through pruning. Paper flower. Also known as Bougainvillea glabra, paper flower is among the most common varieties. While you can use it in your garden, it is a more common option for bonsai. It is also perfect for training trellis or climbing walls. Extra large varieties. Sometimes referred to as full-sized or giant varieties, extra large bougainvillea grows to be massive vines and develops pretty showy blooms that transform your garden's landscape. But, due to their massive size, they may need extensive space dedicated to them. Great Bougainvillea. Also known as Bougainvillea spectabilis, the Great Bougainvillea is a close cousin of the paper flower. This variety tends to grow slightly taller, between 15 and 40 feet. James Walker. The James Walker variety is one of the unusual-looking varieties. It grows reddish-purple flowers with a white center to create an elegant interest in any outdoor space. The James Walker grows to about 20 to 30 feet tall. Texas Dawn. The Texas Dawn variety grows thick multi-clusters of bicolored light pink bracts that transition to dark pink shades as it ages. You can even easily blend the vine into your decor on days you plan to host garden gatherings during the day. Bougainvillea budiana. This variety is not natural but a hybrid between glabra and peruviana. This hybrid produces an evergreen vine with trumpet-shaped white flowers and thorny stems. The flowers grow in clusters surrounded by bright magenta bracts. Barbara karst. A hybrid bougainvillea, the Barbara karst is one of the hardiest varieties surviving just fine in the driest of locations. This variety produces eye-catching magenta to rose leafy bracts surrounded by tiny white flowers that bloom all year. Lady Bearing, also known as Hawaiian Gold or Yellow Glory, gets its name from the bright yellow showy clusters of blooms it develops. The extra-large and fast-growing bougainvillea requires generous exposure to full sun to grow these beautiful blooms. Orange King. If you want a less common colorful display in your garden, the Orange King is an excellent option. Like the name suggests, the variety grows a cluster of deep orange to orange-red flowers that bring your garden to life during the summer. Gold Rush. The hybrid Gold Rush variety grows beautiful showy yellow blooms that are accentuated by their green foliage. Growing up to 20 feet tall at maturity, the plant has a ground-hugging character which can add a great look to your garden. White Stripe. The evergreen vine grows clear white to cream flower-like bract clusters with green and white variegated foliage. The flowers are at their peak best during the warmer seasons. You can also use the vine as ground cover. Thornless varieties. Bougainvillea is known to grow thorns as its main characteristic. However, you should expect to come across varieties that don't possess their typical features. These include thornless varieties that don't grow thorns on them. New River. It is among the most versatile varieties, growing to about 20 to 40 feet tall. The vine lets you trail it on your wall or even display it as bonsai. It grows purple bracts that surround minuscule white flowers for an elegant finish. Purple Queen. Growing to about 20 feet tall, the Purple Queen Bougainvillea is a show-stealing variety. It grows deep purple petal-like bracts that stand subtly against its equally deep green foliage. Elizabeth Angus. Although it's considered violet, the Elizabeth Angus variety is sometimes known as the Purple Bougainvillea. The vine is adorned with bright magenta to violet blooms for excellent ground cover or to drape patios and arbors. Rosa preciosa. Extending to about 16 feet tall, the Rosa preciosa features small pink-white flowers enveloped by pink bracts. This variety bougainvillea can be grown on soil. However, it showcases its beauty much easier in a large pot. Miami pink. Among the larger bougainvillea varieties, Miami pink grows to 20 to 30 feet and grows hot pink showy blooms. You will enjoy a change of color nearly all year round, with the buds starting at purple before turning pink when the flower opens. Juanita Hatton. Native to Brazil, the Juanita Hatton features a vivid arrangement of beautiful deep and crisp red bracts. Growing to about 40 feet tall, the vine is an excellent garden border, privacy screen, or even as a landscape tree. Rainbow gold. This displays intense apricot, peachy orange flowers that bloom from spring through fall. This multicolored vine does the job for you, blending its multicolored display just right, bringing life to your garden. Sundown orange. The highly prized sundown orange boasts thick flower blossoms that easily stand out on their own. Growing from 10 to 30 feet tall, you can plant these varieties in hanging baskets and trail on a wall, fence, trellis or arbor. Afterglow. A large variety, growing to about 25 to 40 feet tall. Its light-colored blossoms present a pretty elegant and relaxing interest. The variety grows bicolored bracts in bright yellow and orange clusters. California gold. It is one of the most prolific yellow bougainvillea varieties, growing between 15 to 30 feet tall and wide. The shrub-like vine develops beautiful, showy blossoms that start off pale gold and transition to orangey bronze at maturity. Miss Alice. Also known as Moonlight, Mauna Kea White, or Singapore White, the Miss Alice variety is popular for its thornless growth. This variety grows small white flower clusters that blend well in the backdrop of other colorful blooms. Mary Palmer's Enchantment. Surviving dry but well-drained soil and loving exposure to full sun. Mary Palmer's Enchantment grows outstanding snow-white blossoms that are further accentuated by their glossy green foliage. San Diego Red. If you want a bougainvillea for a cold climate, the San Diego Red is the ultimate cold-tolerant variety to go for. The San Diego Red makes the cut among the top hardiest bougainvillea varieties. It grows showy deep, lipstick red blossoms, but to best enjoy this view, you need to expose them to full sun. The San Diego Red variety grows to about 15 to 30 feet tall.